Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the New Flame Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew, and this past week I was super uncoordinated, and I haven't reached out to Kareem Dean, cousin, to see if they can record until literally today. So unfortunately, unless they text me, well, the time I'm recording, it'll just be me. So it is what it is, a little bit of a bummer, but a lot more MLB news has been happening in the past week. Um, and it's really unfortunate, the news that's been coming out, a lot of injuries. Um, but let's start with the MLB news, just in case I do get a text back from Kareem or Dean or anyone like that, for joining me. So first, let's start off with the two big injuries. First one, Eloy Jimenez from the Chicago White Sox is out for 5 to 6 months, and that is the entirety of the regular season. And I doubt he'll be coming back for the postseason. I'm assuming the White Sox make it, because I still think they will. That division is just so bad that they will just gonna make the playoffs by default. So this is still a big blow for the White Sox, because they are a young team that doesn't have a whole lot of experience outside of a few guys like Grandal, Jose Abreu, who's been in the league for a while. But other than that, it's a fairly young team. You got Yohan Moncada, you got Tim Anderson, you got Luis Robert, you got Lucas Giolito, and other guys like that. And Eloy Jimenez had a fantastic 2020. Yes, it was only 60 games. Okay, sorry for that. Same thing that happened last week happened again, so that's really unfortunate. But you look at his 2020 stats: 14 home runs, 41 RBIs, 56 strikeouts, only 12 walks. Not amazing. 296 average, 332 on base, 559 slugging, 891 OPS. But one stat that really strikes out to me is that 138 OPS plus, which is on base plus slugging percentage, adjusted for ballpark. So like we all know, like the Rockies park with the thin air is very different than like the Pirates park or the Yankee Stadium, which with the short porch out there and right, or Fenway in left field with the Green Monster. So it adjusts the on base plus slugging for that, and where 100 is league average, Eloy Jimenez had a 138 and over a 162 game average, which is like ironically right around the amount he's actually played. He's played 177. He's averaging 40. He'd have 41 home runs, 110 RBIs, 276 average, which isn't the greatest. 321 on base, 527. But I think he took a really good stride last year. Won the Silver Slugger as well last year. And then the year before, in 2019, Rookie of the Year, 4th place. So this is a gigantic blow at for the White Sox out there in left. So left field, wherever they would, I would assume left field, maybe D. I'm not really sure where he would have played, but now you look at the outfield and you got Robert, and that's really it. Now, Adam Eaton, maybe. I think honestly Adam Eaton would have to be your one of your starting outfielders, and then I'm not sure who the third one would be, because you would have Robert in center. That's the only thing that we know for sure right now. We go over here to teams. We go White Sox. We go to Can I find like the roster? You know, so yeah, I'm seeing Adam Eaton, Adam Engel, for outfield. Eloy would, no, not him, obviously, and Robert. So this is tough, and I'm not even sure if they have like a top-rated prospect that could come up and fill in for Eloy Jimenez. So this is very tough. But like I said, I still think the White Sox are gonna win that division, because in our division with the Indians have good pitching and all that, but I'm just still not sure how that's gonna work with their offense. The Royals are not good. Tigers, we all know how bad they are. And then I'm trying to think what's like. See, I can't even think of the other team in that division right now. So that's unfortunate. Oh, standings. Okay, let's go here. Great. Kansas City, White Sox, Cleveland, Kansas City. Oh, Minnesota. That's interesting. Minnesota might make a run for the division, but I still like White Sox the White Sox pitching a little bit more because I don't know for the Twins how you can rely on J Happ being your like number 3 starter. Trust me, I'm a Yankees fan, and when J Happ was going out there every 5 days, that was tough. So the White Sox, they got their lower every position. They got Lance Lynn, they got Lucas Giolito. And then in the bullpen they got Aaron Bummer, who's very underrated. Great lefty. They got Garrett Crochet, who might be coming back. Michael Kopech might be coming back from injury. So I would assume before the Eloy's injury, I would have said around maybe like a 7-game win in the division. But now this is gonna be closer to like 2 wins, maybe 3 games ahead of the White Sox for first place in that division. And now to talk about like what actually happened during the play that he got injured, Eloy, I think I'm in the camp of for spring training. It's like, especially if you're like a star player and you've like locked your spot on a roster before spring training has even started, there's no reason, absolutely no reason to go all out for a play. He was trying to rob a home run that was already that landed like 5 rows into the stands. What are you doing, Eloy? So it's a shoulder injury, I believe. He went to rob it, and if you've seen Aaron Judge's attempt to rob a home run last year in the ALDS versus the Padres, where he would have robbed it, but his head hit the padding. This is essentially the same thing, but Eloy, he jumped harder because obviously he's not as tall as Aaron Judge, and he hit his shoulder. So, Eloy, what are you doing, man? I think, and I know there are some people who like, it's still baseball, you still gotta go for your hardest, but Eloy, a guy who's already locked in a spot before training camp has even started, spring training has even started, what are you doing, my man? There is absolutely no reason to be going all out for a play that you can't even make. You watch that clip and you're like, you cannot make that play. There was just absolutely no way of making that play. So, I know like I said, I know a lot of people are in the camp of, like, oh yeah, you still gotta go all out and all that, but I don't like it. I don't like that. So yeah, Eloy Jimenez has a very tough injury. He's gonna be out for the entire, like, pretty much all of the regular season and then probably most of the, if not all of the postseason, because I think it's 5 to 6 months to return to baseball activity, and then not being able to do anything for 5 to 6 months, it's gonna take another month to get like back into the swing of things and all that. So Eloy Jimenez is gonna miss this entire season, which is very unfortunate. And he was having a great spring training. Yes, it's not. He had 50 plate appearances, 2 home runs, 11 RBIs, whatever. But 319 batting average. You like to see that. So, this is really tough for the White Sox here, and I'm not sure how the White Sox are gonna be, make up for this. Maybe they sign someone, or maybe they try to trade for someone who is on his last year of who's on the last year of his contract. Maybe that's what it's gonna have to be, but I really don't know anymore for the White Sox, because they're in a tough situation now. So Eloy Jimenez is out for 5 to 6 months. That's the entirety of the regular season, and then if not, all of the postseason as well. So, White Sox fans, if you're White Sox fans, let me know what you think you guys are gonna do to recover from this. Obviously, I think the best option for you guys would be to try to trade for someone who's on the last year of his contract. Because, wait, you know what? Who I just remembered was still a free agent? Yasiel Puig. I think that's an interesting fit because he was on the Reds and Indians and Dodgers. Obviously, that's what he's most known for. And he didn't play most of last season. The Yankees tried to bring him in, but did not. And so I think Yasiel Puig could still play baseball, and I think that would be a good fit. But I think the more likely option is that you guys try to trade for someone who's on the last year of his contract, and maybe he's in the best. Maybe he's only like a 260, 265 average guy, maybe like 15 home runs, 70 OBI, something like that. But you just can't lose all production from that left fielder spot. You have to have some production there, and even if it's like one half of what Eloy would do, it's better than what Adam Engel or Adam Eaton are gonna do out there. So I think you trade for someone who's on the last year of his contract, or you sign Yasiel Puig. Those are the two options for you White Sox. I don't think how you can go an entire season just losing your production from your left fielder. So now that lineup is probably honestly, Tim Anderson might lead off. Maybe Luis Robert will. They don't have a true leadoff hitter. Maybe Adam Eaton, because I would assume he'd be playing right field, and then Adam Engel would have been that fourth outfielder. So maybe Adam Eaton will be the leadoff hitter. Then Yasmani Grandal at number 2. Then I think Jose Abreu at 3. Then maybe Tim Anderson at 3, Jose Abreu at 4, Yohan Moncada at 5. I really like Yohan Moncada. I don't know. He just has such a beautiful swing, in my opinion. And then you can go out, and then probably I forgot about Luis Robert. I'd probably bat Luis Robert first. Honestly, I think that you said that before, but that's what I would do for the White Sox. And now, I still think they're gonna win the division. I'm just gonna still say that. I think they're still a top tier team in baseball. And but moving on, a next minor injury for the Seattle Mariners. Kyle Lewis is probably gonna miss at least 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 weeks. And I mean Mariners. I'm not gonna say it's fine because you're losing Kyle Lewis. You won Rookie of the Year last year. But it's also fine because you guys have like 5 outfielders who can play. You got Julio Rodriguez. Who's a really exciting prospect that I'm excited to come up. You got Mitch Haniger coming back from injury. You got I'm trying to think. I know there's a whole thing about like all this, but let me find their roster real quick. But Kyle Lewis his opening day is in doubt. So I think he could probably miss close to at least 1, maybe 2 weeks. Yeah, you guys got Mitch Haniger. You got let's see, continuing on. Dylan Moore can play the outfield. Taylor Trammell. I'm trying to think. You just got so many guys. Some that I'm missing out on, who can play in the outfield. So you'll be fine. The White Sox will be fine. Oh, not White Sox. Mariners will be fine. Maybe not the White Sox will be fine, but Mariners will be fine. I didn't expect them to make a push for the division. I think it's gonna be between the A's, Angels, or Astros, and so Mariners are probably gonna be in that 4th, 5th place team, but definitely losing Kyle Lewis is not helpful. But he's only gonna be out for a week, maybe 2, maybe 3 at the most. But I mean, even if he misses 2 weeks, yeah, it's a bummer. But in all reality, how good are you gonna be? And I don't think losing out on Kyle Lewis for 2 weeks is gonna be a big deal. So Kyle Lewis out for the Seattle Mariners. With your depth at outfield, you guys will be fine. You don't need to do anything like at all. Um, so yeah, you're fine. Next, Juan Soto. Um, he got taken out of the game for something that Dave Martinez said was very minor. So it doesn't concern me a whole lot. That that he's gonna be being reevaluated. But I think Juan Soto will be fine. He's the best pure hitter in baseball. There, I said it. If you want to argue with me, you're wrong. Um, but Juan Soto, I think is. I mean, not that I think this. I mean, I do, but everyone can agree he is very important to that White Sox. Why do I keep saying White Sox? To that Nationals team. And if they want to make a push for the postseason, they're gonna need him to be healthy. So Juan Soto, he's gonna need to be healthy for the not gonna say it, not gonna say White Sox, but for the Nationals. And even still, even if he only misses like I don't know 5 days, it's not the end of the world. Yes, you're losing out on the best player in baseball, but it's only 5 days, and in a 162 game season, I don't think it's gonna matter that much. So anyway, I mean, not now. I want to say Mariners. The can't think. I cannot think today. The Nationals will be fine. I don't think they need to in too much of panic mode. If Juan Soto misses a couple days, he misses a couple of days. It's not the end of the world for them. Continuing on, the home run leader from last year, Luke Voit, is going to be out at least 1 month, maybe a month and a half, maybe 2. Aaron Boone said that he would be back well before June. So Luke Voit, he's probably gonna go on the. I mean, he is gonna go on the IL. And that clears up one roster spot because no doubt in the mind he was gonna be the starting first baseman on opening day. That clears up one roster spot, and we could have used it in a lot of different ways. We could have used it on Davy Garcia, but just with the amount of pitchers that we have, it wasn't really necessary. So we decided to use it on Jay Bruce, a first baseman, outfielder that we picked up in free agency. And honestly, it stinks. Jay Bruce, he's got big power, can't field for anything, can't hit for contact for anything. It's home run or bust with this guy, much like the rest of the Yankees lineup. But I guess he'll have to make do. And if he pops off, hey, I'm not opposed to it. But obviously, Luke Voit, that's a big blow. You go from batting like third, fourth in that lineup to Jay Bruce probably batting ninth now. So now you have to look at that lineup. It will probably, if I had to guess, this will be the opening day lineup for the New York Yankees. Probably going to be LeMahieu, Judge, Torres, Stanton. This is tough. No, probably, yeah. Nah, Torres hit very well in that 5 spot last year, so probably go LeMahieu, Judge, Aaron Hicks, Stanton, Torres, Urshela. So that's all of the infield. Jay Bruce will back. Then Gary Sanchez at 7, Clint Frazier at 8, and then Jay Bruce at 9. That's just my guess. It could go anyways. It could go Torres at 3, Hicks at 5. That's personally what I would do. But with Torres' success at the number 5 spot last year, I saw it last year. Once he came back from injury and he was playing that 5-6 spot, he was hitting very well compared to like that 3 spot. And personally, I feel the same way. I feel like at the number. If my coach puts me at the number 3, I'm like, okay, I gotta do something because But meanwhile, if I'm at the number 5 spot or number 6, 7 spot, I'm like, alright, I can just be myself up there at the plate. I don't need to get this big hit. I don't need to try my best. I'm obviously gonna try my best, but you know what I mean. I'm not gonna. I'm not putting this pressure on myself. I need to get a hit. I need to do this. I need to do that. I can just be myself up there at the plate, and I feel like that was the kind of same with Torres last year, and that's a very common thing with players. I don't know, like, if you play baseball, if you feel like that, but definitely let me know. So Aaron Boone I think, as much as I'm like, oh, he's such a bad manager, he's a good manager in all reality. Do I think he manages a pitching staff the best? No. Will he leave some relievers in way too long? Absolutely yes. But he's in the upper tier of managers. After all, he has made the postseason in his first 3 years of being a manager. So, so I think Boone will make a way to deal with Voigt's injury. So, but back to Voigt's injury, like I was saying, he's gonna be out for at least a month. Boone said that he will be back considerably before June. So if that's like mid-May, April, no, April, May, June. Yeah, I don't know why I thought it went June, May, July. I don't know. It's a disaster, boys. Anyway, so whether that's like mid-May or start of May or whenever, hey, the sooner he comes back and the sooner he's like 100% healthy, I'll be happy. I'll be a happy camper. So this definitely shakes up a lot for the Yankees, and definitely unfortunate that the way that it's going down. Next up, Anthony Santander has a little oblique injury. He'll be fine. He won't miss too much. Had that 18-game hitting streak, carried me in fantasy for like 3 weeks last year. Absolutely amazing. Always have a special place in my heart for that. Zach Gallen, one of the best pitchers on that Diamondbacks team. Not sure why he wasn't the opening day starter over Madison Bumgarner, but if I'm reading, it has a hairline fracture. Hairline, like your hairline, like on your head. I'm confused. I'm not sure what this means. He's a low stress level and it's clear. He'll probably miss a little bit of time, but if he was healthy, he would have been the opening day starter. Without a doubt in my mind, he would have been. So, I mean, he'll probably miss 1, maybe 2 starts at the most. It is what it is. George Springer also has an oblique injury. Now, his status for opening day in doubt. Yeah, and so just reading the thing here, it just says if he does start on the IL, be a very short trip there and won't be there for long. So George Springer, he's gonna need to stay healthy. He's gonna need to rake for the Blue Jays this year. Him and Marcus Semien and Vlad Jr. and Bo Bichette to carry that woeful pitching. I look at the Blue Jays like lineup and I don't see a weakness. Maybe catcher, because the outfield you got Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Teoscar Hernandez, and Randall Grichuk. I like Randall Grichuk. Is he a star? No. I think of him more as a fourth outfielder, but if he's gonna have to start, he's gonna. What am I saying? It's like Lourdes Gurriel, Springer, and Teoscar Hernandez. That's a fantastic outfield. The infield, not in any particular order. You got Vlad, you got Semien, you got Bichette, you got Biggio. That's a fantastic infield. Catching is a little weak. Alejandro Kirk and Danny Jansen, not the greatest catchers in the world, but hey, I think that lineup could carry that pitching for a little bit. So, I mean, I don't think they're gonna win the division. They might not even win second place. I think they will. I think it'll go Yankees, Blue Jays, Rays, Red Sox, Orioles. But so yeah. I mean, George Springer, if he starts on the IL, he's only gonna have to miss a week, which is not the end of the world, for them. So, and he's coming back soon. He's hitting off a tee today. So, hey, it is what it is for the Blue Jays. Yeah. Trent Grisham next. New in-game action, hamstring injury. He'll have a shot to play opening day, and on a team loaded with the talent like the Padres, I think Trent Grisham kind of gets overlooked. He had a pretty good 2020 last year. Um. Oh wait, maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't. He only hit 251. Why did I think he hit like 270? But anyway, I think given a full 162, I think he'll be able, to be that like 270, 280 type guy, 20 plus home runs, like 70 plus OBIs. He was a really highly touted prospect for the Brewers. He was traded because he, made the play versus the Nationals. Nationals fans will forever remember Trent Grisham for giving them a World Series. But I think Trent Grisham, I think he's pretty underrated. Did not have a great 2020, to my surprise. I thought he was pretty good. But he might or might not play opening day. So Padres, even if he misses the start of the season, he's only going to be out for like 3 games. So, I mean, it is what it is. A lot of these injuries, it's like, it's not like season ending like Eloy Jimenez or like Luke Voigt where he's missing a month. Most of these injuries are like, oh, he's gonna miss a week. Oh, okay, that's fine. Next up, I believe this happened last week, but yeah, it did. Maybe even 2 weeks ago, and I just forgot about it. But Carlos Carrasco, new member of the Mets, diagnosed with a high hamstring tear. That's not good. He won't return to the Mets rotation until for 6 to 8 weeks. That's early to mid-June. That's a big blow for the Mets. I think he would have probably been their number 2 starter if I had to guess. Probably go DeGrom, Carrasco, Stroman. But now without him, it's gonna go DeGrom, Stroman, Steven Matz is on the Blue Jays now. So I look at this team and you look at like no injuries and like this is a top 2 team in baseball, but you lose Carrasco for 6 to 8 weeks. You lose Noah Syndergaard for how long is he gonna be out? Let's look up that. Late May or early June. So both of these guys coming back like within a couple of weeks of each other, Carrasco and Syndergaard, and you're like, that's not ideal. And you really like that's just really not ideal for the Mets. So I think fully healthy that team can make a World Series push, but without Stroman and without Carrasco and without Carrasco and Syndergaard, that's a yikes. That's a yikes. I'm not even gonna lie. That is a tad bit of a yikes. So, yeah, not good. So I would like to see. I mean, my second favorite team is the Braves. I would like to see the Braves, maybe get like a 5 to 10 game lead on the Mets by then. So that way, I don't think the Mets would have a chance of coming back. From that. So, hey, Braves, this is your chance to, really prove yourself and be like, we're the better team. Yes, it took some injuries from the Mets, but this is your chance. These first 2 months of the season is your chance right now. You have a chance to prove that you can win this division, be the better team, and be like, haha, Mets. So, hey, Braves, you got to take advantage of that. Next up, Sonny Gray from the Cincinnati Reds. Almost said Bengals. I cannot talk today. But he threw a simulated game on, it looks like Friday. But he's probably won't be ready for opening day. Not that he would have been the opening day starter. I would have given that to Luis Castillo. But even then, he's probably going to have to miss at least 1 start. Possibly 2, but probably not. So, I mean, the Reds on a team that you're like, are we competing? Are we not? On one of these middle-of-the-pack teams, losing Sonny Gray can... And especially if this, he throws another simulated game and it gets worse, and, he's going to be out for another month and a half, you cannot have one of your star pitchers be out for that long. And after that, I feel like you just, what? This is a throwaway season. We'll come back next year, and hopefully we can compete in this division and try to make a playoff push. But I still don't think they would have made a playoff push just because with how good some of these teams are. Like, you look at the NL West and the NL East, and you're like, oh, they both have two really good teams. One maybe two like average, maybe slightly above average teams, and then one team that's just not good. So I think for the Reds, I don't think they would have made a playoff spot anyway. Even if Sonny Gray is like fully healthy, and it looks like he'll gonna be ready for at least his second, what would have been his second start, but it's gonna be his technically first start of the season. So not that big of a deal, and so that really does it for injuries. I can't really think of any more that have been happening, and so yeah, I'm gonna make a really awkward cut here. Alright, we are back now, and so with the injuries, with the injury notes out of the way, time to talk about some more generic just news. I'm just on here on the like Google search for MLB news. Got Jazz Chisholm, one of the Marlins like better prospects, has won the second base job for the Miami Marlins, and honestly, like, yeah, he was exciting to watch. Like, he has a cool name and all that jazz and all that jazz. Hey, wow, look at me, I'm so hilarious. But he did not perform last year, and I think this is just a hey, we're a young team. We're not gonna compete that much this year. Just go out and just prove yourself that you can like actually be like a good like player for us. Next, Randy Domnack, greatest mustache in all sports perhaps, signed a 5-year extension for the Minnesota Twins. Hey, go get your money, my man. Now Randy Domnack last year, he carried my fantasy team. Not gonna lie, some guys ERAs in the threes. Man's rocking a solid 1 ERA. Obviously that's an exaggeration, but Randy Dobnak, he's a low ERA, low strikeout guy. Doesn't allow a lot of base runners. Just when they do, they tend to score. So his only problem, I think, was the walks a little bit last year. But other than that, I think he's really underrated, and and just given the chance to be your number 2 starter probably behind Jose Barrios, I think this will be his season to shine. Prove to the world that he's more than just having a great mustache, because he does. Next, some like college news. This guy from Vanderbilt. I mean, obviously it's Vanderbilt. Like, just clear. It just had to be Vanderbilt. Through 16 straight innings, no hits, 26 strikeouts. I want to say it's like Al Leader, something like that. No, Al. No, that's not. It's not his name. Why did I think it was like some like. I don't know. Let me look up Vanderbilt baseball. Hopefully it'll come up. Vanderbilt baseball. What was his name? What's his name? Jack Leader, that's what it was. Jack Leader, 16 innings, 26 strikeouts, no hits. I mean, no wonder he's coming from Vanderbilt. They could produce some of the best pitchers in the league. Just a lot of pitchers. So, I mean, this man might be going first overall. I don't really know much about college baseball. I'm not gonna talk about anything. Continuing on, this happened, I want to say earlier in the week. It might have even happened last week, but Lance McCullers Jr. signs a 5-year extension as well, and much like Randy Dobnak, like Lance, you know what I mean. With the Houston Astros, it was 5 years. I'm not too sure on the money. Let me look how much. Lance McCullers. We gotta do some research here on the do some extension. Lance McCullers extension. 5-year, $85 million. That's cheap. Holy, that is cheap. was that, like 15 mil a year? Oh wait, maybe it's not that cheap. 85 divided by 5, 17. 17. Maybe it's not as maybe not as cheap as I thought, but still, Lance McCullers is really underrated. And as much as I hate to say it, because he's like on the Astros, but hey, I mean, as much as as much as I hate the Astros, he's really good, and I think he's a key part to that. So you have your rotation with, you got Verlander, who's going to be out for most of, if not all, this year. You got Verlander, you got Jake Odorizzi. On a normal season, like no injuries this year, you'd have Justin Verlander, Christian Javier, Framber Valdez, Jake Odorizzi, Lance McCullers. That's spooky. That is pretty spooky. For you, for a starting rotation. So, hey, Astros are trying to build up a spooky, starting lineup to compete with their. I want to say lackluster, but their good lineup. They definitely got some pieces like Yordan Alvarez, Michael Brantley, but they also got some weaker spots like their catcher spot. And, like, Yuli Gurriel is not amazing. But speaking of the Astros, Carlos Correa might not come back. And, I don't like Carlos Correa. First of all, he defended the cheating. What a dummy. And he started talking his mouth about, like, when they made the ALCS. It was like the memes all like, oh, it was a Mickey Mouse ALCS appearance, because y'all were 29-31 and made the playoffs. Just let that sink in. But anyway, continuing on, he had a press conference and he was talking about a contract extension, and when someone asked about it, he was just like, they offered me a contract, very stupid, or something like that. It was like, no, you didn't call it stupid, but he kind of went like, he was not like, he was acting like it wasn't a good deal, like it was ridiculous. So if he doesn't come back, and then Trevor Story this offseason doesn't sign an extension, this free agency class for shortstop is going to be very interesting, because you got 2 top 10 shortstops, as much as I hate to say with Carlos Correa, and then a top 5 shortstop, maybe even top 3 shortstop with Trevor Story, and you've got a very loaded class. Much like this year in the NFL with free agency, with wide receivers in free agency. So, definitely going to be interesting to see, if the Astros can come up with the money, or if he tests free agency, or he resigns, he tests out free agency and was like, I'm still getting offers I don't like. Astros might be like middle of the pack offers, but I want to come back and play with Houston. So, it'll be interesting to see what he does, but just hearing him be like, it was a bad offer, whatever, just really is odd to me, because I think Carlos Correa knows that he wouldn't be able to get a contract from anyone else. I mean, so, hey, Astros, you gotta assign Carlos Correa. I think, as much as I don't like him, he is pretty good. He's good. So, and he's gonna be a key part moving forward. He's fairly young. I want to say he's like 26, 27, something like that. Maybe even younger, 25, but, he's going to be a key part to your team moving forward, and you sign Lance McCullers to an extension, and assuming that Jake Odorizzi just doesn't fully implode, you might sign him to an extension. So, moving forward, the Astros have some things to figure out, and, who all they want to keep. Then you also have to think, you got to pay Yordan Alvarez, assuming he wasn't a one-season wonder. You gotta pay. I think Altuve's already gotten an extension, but Bregman as well. So Astros, they're either gonna have to come up with the money, or Correa's gonna leave. I mean, that's fairly generic. I don't know. Continuing on, the Yankees have and Aaron Boone have announced the starting rotation. Number 1, we got, obviously, second best starting pitcher in the game, Garrett Cole. That's just clear and obvious. He's gonna start. And then number 2, this might surprise some people. I was honestly expecting it to be like Jameson Taillon or even Jordan Montgomery. That's a bit of a stretch, I know, but number 2 was Corey Kluber, a year off of coming off of, I believe it was Tommy John surgery, from the Texas Rangers. It was some sort of big injury. A year off of that, and he's really shown it this year in spring training that I think coming into today, he had like a 1.86 ERA. He didn't have the greatest start today, but hey, he's shown that he can. He's not going to be that 2015, 2016, 2017 Kluber, but back when he was Klubot. But hey, if we can get like a low 3 ERA from him, I will be a very happy man. Number 3, oh man, why am I blanking? I just watched the video of it today. Why? Okay, I found it. I found an article. And then Domingo Germán at number 3. Hey, I mean, he's played decently in spring training. And we all know what happened with Domingo Germán. 2018, he was pretty good. His only problem was giving up the home run, gave up like more than league average. But this year in spring training, he's shown it, and then he had that. But back to what I was saying. I do this a lot, if you can't tell. I'll be talking about one thing, and I'll just completely skip something very important that happened. But he had that great 2018 season, and then that season he was great 2019 season. My bad. And then at the end of it, a sexual assault came out, or maybe not just assault. No, it wasn't a sexual assault. It was just a not normal. It was just an assault charge. I believe he slapped his girlfriend. Don't do that. That is a dumb decision. Don't ever do that. I just don't do that ever. So anyway, he got suspended for all of 2020 as an 80-game suspension. And, he missed all of the 2019 playoffs and then all of the 2020 season. But coming back, he's going to be going number 3 in the rotation. Cole, Kluber, Germán, 1, 2, 3. 3 righties in a row. Not my favorite at all. Number 4, I believe next. Who was it? Hold on. I believe it was Jordan Montgomery. I'm like 99% sure it was Jordan Montgomery. So Jordan Montgomery, the only lefty in our rotation, which is kind of unfortunate. I'm not gonna lie, but it is what it is. So I think having only one lefty in the rotation is tough. It's tough. So while I'm waiting for the thing to load, one thing I know is Jameson Taillon will not be in the first five starters, as he was talking about coming off a big injury. The fact that he hasn't had to do this before, he hasn't come off an injury, a major one at least. So he was just easing him back into the lineup, but just easing him back into what the pitching rotation I think will be good. And then so I'm gonna leave be quiet here so I can watch this video. Alright, Jordan Montgomery in game 5. That's what it was. And then game 5, he said that they'll go back to Garrett Cole. So it's going to go Cole, Kluber, Germán, Montgomery, then back to Cole for game 5, and then probably Taillon at game 6. So what this means is that Cole, they are going to rely on him to be this 200-inning guy, that we don't see that too much. And Boone and Cole believe that he can be that 200-inning guy, and I'm down for it. Hey, if he thinks he can do it, hey, why not? So I definitely think that starting with starting off with Cole is that's a no-brainer. The only thing that I don't really like, I personally would have gone Montgomery 3, Germán 4, just because I don't like having 3 straight righties and then a lefty. Especially when you only have a 4 guy rotation to start. I just don't really think that's ideal. So I think Cole, Kluber, I would have done Montgomery then Herman, but Jordan Montgomery, he said that, like back when they signed Kluber, he was like, it's gonna be really fun to pick his brain, like learn what he does to get ready for a game and all that, and and he was good last year. He wasn't anything special. He had a few great games, a few not so great games. Looking at that one Rays game, but I think learning from Kluber, learning from Cole, learning from Tyone, we'll definitely. I guess not learning from Tyone because they're about the same age. You know what I mean, but. Just learning from those different guys and the pitching coach definitely helps. So Montgomery 4, then back to Cole at game 5 because I believe there's like an off day there. So, it will still be 5 days rest. But Cole, I think, he's the second best pitcher in the game for a reason, and he's going to have to go, every 4 or 5, maybe even 4 days. And then, after a while, maybe they'll go like Cole, and they'll go like that 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back to Cole, and then they'll do a normal 5, then a 4, then a 5. Then, after a month and a half, then they'll go back into a normal 5-man rotation where I would honestly expect it to, depending on, how well players are playing, Cole, Kluber, maybe even Tyone, then Montgomery, then Herman, because I just don't like having 3 straight righties, and I know I just did that there, but, I would like to have another lefty in that lineup, in that rotation. I'm not even gonna lie, but that's the Yankees rotation. Let me know what you think of it. I think it's good. I think he did his best for what they were gonna do. So, for the personnel that they have. Continuing on with pitching, we got Madison Bumgarner to start opening day for the Diamondbacks, and coming off an injury-rattled 2020, didn't play at all. And with Zach Gallen hurt, like we talked about, he was the only option then. So I think the Diamondbacks, they're not gonna compete, especially in the NL West, but Madison Bumgarner hopefully can return to half of what he was in San Francisco. Next, this is a big one. This is a very big one. The Boston Red Sox. Matt Barnes tested positive for I'm not going to say it because even though we can't get monetized, I don't want to get, I don't know, I'm just going to say for COVID-19, and then 8 more tested positive, and you're like, oh no, this is exactly what the MLB did not want, especially in, spring training, right as the season's going to start, so, that's not ideal, but, hopefully they can get this under control. Not too many players are going to have to be out. So, this is definitely a big blow. Losing probably your best reliever. Now you're going to have to rely on Adam Ottavino. If he does poorly for the Red Sox, I will be a happy camper. So anyway, losing Matt Barnes is probably your biggest player that you lost. A bunch of, minor leaguers, who weren't going to play that much. Some depth pieces. It's tough. They're gonna have to be out for at least 2 weeks. And now you're just hoping that this doesn't turn into a Cardinals situation or a Marlins situation from last year. And you're just you're hoping and praying that it just does not turn out to be. So hopefully quick recovery for them, and they come back better than ever, and not like Eduardo Rodriguez did. Hopefully that doesn't not happen, because that's not good. Alright, I'm just looking through the for the news. Not too much to really talk about. We really talked about it all. Todd Frazier opts out of Pirates deal. Bro, why would you opt out of being on the worst team in the league? They're an embarrassment. Why? Todd, listen to me. Listen to me, Todd. Where else are you going to get a contract? Okay, yeah, maybe you had a horrible spring training. Why does that matter? Well, you're not going to get a contract anywhere else. So, I don't understand that, at all. I don't understand that at all. Why you would opt out of being on the Pirates? It's tough. It's really tough. Like why on earth would you do that? So, hey, I think that's really all of the news I'm seeing here. Um, yeah, that's really all I'm seeing. Um, so yeah, on to the NFL news using our trusty NFL free agency tracker here. First thing we got here, safety in Keanu Neal signs with the Dallas Cowboys on 1 year, $5 million deal. He's got that Dan Quinn connection, and Keanu Neal, he's good. Yeah, I think he's pretty good. So I think that Cowboys need as much help as they can get on defense. And after losing Chidobe Awuzie, finally said that name. I've been like Chidobe Awuzie. I don't even know how I've been saying it, but Chidobe Awuzie. After losing him, they needed to make something on defense, and they definitely got that with Keanu Neal. He's more of what they call a box safety, lining up in the middle of the field. More of a little bit of a pass rusher. Not so much of a coverage guy, but he's got that connection with Dan Quinn, the new defensive coordinator for Dallas. And so I definitely feel like this is a good move, not too expensive for a pretty underrated player, probably willing to take a little bit of a discount to reunite with Dan Quinn. Did we not talk about this last week? I'm just going back to like what we talked about last week, but hey, if we did, I'm gonna talk about it again. But Kenny Golladay, the best receiver, free agent receiver. If you say anyone else, stop. But Kenny Golladay lands with from the Detroit Lions to the New York Giants for a 4-year, $72 million deal, and be worth up to $76 million. Includes $40 million guaranteed. So I think Kenny Golladay, when healthy, is a top 10, maybe. No, I'm not gonna say top 5, but definitely top 10 receiver in the league. And pairing him up with Daniel Jones, who I feel like most of that 2019 draft class with Daniel Jones and like Dwayne Haskins, they've not been good throughout their career besides Kyler Murray. And you saw what adding a big-bodied receiver like DeAndre Hopkins did for Kyler Murray. And so maybe just adding a big-bodied receiver like Kenny Golladay will do for Daniel Jones. So what it'll do for Daniel Jones and his development, so. And the Giants, they have no more excuses. They got the defense, they got the offense, and if they don't manage a way to win at least 8 games, the problem will then be Daniel Jones. And not that it wasn't before, but now it'll be even more confirmed. Like, yep, it's Daniel Jones. They got to go out and get a quarterback in free agency, maybe the draft, anything like that. So, I definitely like that deal. I think he's well deserved the money, and it's just that it's been unfortunate that his contract here, he got injured in like week 2 or something. Next, a big one, Kyle Fuller. After being released by the Chicago Bears due to cap reasons, he did not spend too much time getting a deal done, and the Broncos are quietly having a great offseason. They got Kareem Jackson back. They signed Justin Simmons for long term. They got Kyle Fuller. They re-signed a pretty good defensive tackle for 3 years. And now the problem is just going to be quarterback. I don't like Drew Lock. I don't think he's the option, that he's the answer. So now with the addition of Kyle Fuller, everyone was like, oh, they're going to go corner with the 9th pick, whether that's Patrick Surtain, maybe it would probably now be that, but over Caleb Farley because of the injury problems, but now there's not so much stress to do that, and I think they have free reign to do whatever they want. So if they want to take if they want to take like Micah Parsons, if he's there, they can. If they want to take a wide receiver like Devonta Smith, well, I don't think this will happen, but Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith will be there most likely, and also Jalen Waddle will be there most likely. So the Broncos now in the draft are in an interesting spot where they can do whatever they want. Probably the 4 quarterbacks will already be gone, the big 4. So you could potentially trade down with a team and try to get like the Washington football team and try to get the 19th pick, and then with that pick you take Mac Jones to replace Drew Lock, and Drew Lock will just be the backup. So Broncos adding Kyle Fuller, top corner in the game, will definitely help out their defense a lot. Next, Xavier Rhodes heading back to Indianapolis. Played very well last year. 12 pass deflections, 2 interceptions, and a pick 6 versus the Jets. 1 year worth up to $6.5 million. And for a guy that was like written off after the 2019-20 season, he was like released or something by the Vikings. Indy picked him up as just like, hey, prove it for us. And now they do, and now he's proved it. He proved it last year, and they're like, come back this year. We want you. We want to make a push for the division. And Carson Wentz is an upgrade over Phillip Rivers, and with how average the Titans have been in free agency, I think this will be a wake up call for the Colts to be like, guys, this is our chance. We can win this division if this is it. But you also can't rule out the draft. I think they got like the 21st pick. I think the Titans as well, like I said, they've been like getting average, but they could easily take a guy like Rashad Bateman or Kadarius Toney at 26. I believe it's 26. With their pick, maybe it's 25, maybe it's 28. I'm not sure, but with their pick and just replace Corey Davis. So I think the AFC South, those 2 teams will be the competitive teams. Houston and Jacksonville, just get out of my face. I think that'll be a very competitive division between those 2 teams and no one else. Sheldon Rankins next up. I don't know why I did that. Signs with the Jets, 2 years, $17 million. Former Saints, they obviously cannot afford to keep him, and so he goes to the Jets. And he's a starter for them. And for a team that their last couple free agency like big splashes have not worked out with C.J. Mosley and Le'Veon Bell. I don't think this one will be a major flop because Sheldon Rankins, he's pretty underrated, and if he can just continue what he's been doing with New Orleans, the Jets will be happy with that. Next up, Texans signed Desmond King. I think we talked about this last week, and Vernon Hargreaves for depth, and then they also signed Dante Moncrief to fill the hole left by Will Fuller. So Texans are very very crowded. Wide receiver, they got Brandon Cooks, Randall Cobb, Kiki Kuti. They got two other guys. So Dante Moncrief will probably be the number 2 or 3. Maybe even 4. For me, it'd probably go Cooks, Cobb, Moncrief, Kuti. That's what I would do if I was the Texans. And poor Kiki Kuti, he had a pretty good season in 2017, like being the number 3 receiver. Or maybe in 2018, or maybe it was 2019. Some injuries, helped him, get some more playing time, and then they get out like Brandon Cooks and all that. So poor Kiki Kuti, he's just never had a chance. But Dante Moncrief, I think is a good signing. And then Desmond King, he's really young. And then Vernon Hargreaves as well. Not much to talk about there, but Desmond King, he's probably going to be a number 1 or 2 corner with Bradley Roby, who's going to miss week 1, much like Will Fuller for the Dolphins now, due to the suspension. But I think those are just really good depth pieces for them to add. And I mean, Desmond King isn't depth. He's their number 1 or 2 corner, so, They also signed Cameron Johnson. Jeez, how much cap space did the Texans have? They've made more signings than the Pats have, but the Pats have spent, more money and, signed better players. But Texans get Cameron Johnston after letting Brad Anger go a couple weeks ago. They got Cameron Johnston. Not much to talk about there. Next up, Isaiah Wilson hit free agency. He's not gonna get signed if I had to guess. He's just not. He's just not gonna get signed. Next up, Rams get Deshaun Jackson as their number 3 receiver, most likely behind Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp. Dear, I cannot talk today. But Deshaun Jackson returning home from obviously he's from LA, so and I think it's a 1 year deal. I think this is his last year. He's just taking this deal so he can go ring chasing, and honestly, they have a good chance to win a ring now with Matt Stafford. And so, you go Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. No one's ahead of one another. They're both equally good. And then Deshaun Jackson as a number 3 option with Van Jefferson as well, who played well in the divisional round versus the Packers last year. And then you got Tyler Higbee at tight end, no more Gerald Everett. But anyway, I think, and then plus the defense with Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Ramsey, and then no first round pick for like the next 7 years. But they could definitely get someone in the second round or even trade up into the second round or first round. It is. If you can hear the rain outside, my bad. It's raining really hard now, I guess. So yeah, Rams get Deshaun Jackson. Next up, not a whole lot. That's really it for the signings, but there has been like a just more general news piece. The NFL 17-game season is pretty much confirmed now. They are pitching the idea to the owners now, and more than likely the owners will say yes, because why wouldn't they? More revenue equals more games equals more money equals happiness, I guess. I don't know. But these owners, all they care about, I feel like, is money, and so, I think that's just gonna happen. It's just a fact, and when it does, get confirmed, we will be breaking it down, talking about everything about it, and, who's going to be playing who. I believe I saw somewhere that the Dolphins would be playing the Giants week 18, I guess now. That's just going to sound so weird. Week 18, 2 byes or something. Oh, no, it wouldn't be 2 byes. I think it was 17 games with 2 byes, so it would be 19 weeks. That's a long time. But, and then Alvin Kamara came out and said that he thinks it's dumb. Now, I have not read into this. So, let's just read it together. Some NFL standouts. Owners already decided. Saints vocal critics, Sunday ESPN's playing in 78 by the far. She dumb as heck. Says, stuff dumb as heck, Kamara tweeted. Adrian Amos really said, we really let this happen, facepalm. Darius Slay responded to that and said, that's what I'm saying, facepalm. Cameron Jordan said, we all knew it was coming, he knew it, she knew it, they knew it, I knew it. Sent a gif of something. Like I said, it's all money based. The owners don't really care about anything like that. Let's read Schefter's original thing. It says 17 games. The league has played 16 games. Okay, no, that's nothing. Let's see. Torrey Smith said 17 games in the NFL is great for money, but they're going to have to adjust practices and what a regular offseason looks like. Dudes were already falling apart by 16. Apart playing 16. As a whole, this is great, but adjustments have to be made. Hey, my man, I agree with that completely. They would just have to be adjustments made for this. And whether that's going to be, starting later or having 2 bye weeks even, I don't like that. I personally don't like the 17-game season. I think they're doing it just because they lost so much money in 2020 when, in all reality, they didn't. They really didn't. But, I think this is an overall it's a meh move. I don't like it personally, but overall you look at it and you're like, okay, I understand why they did it, but I personally don't like it. But more stuff will be coming around this next week, next couple weeks, next month or two. I don't think it would take effect into this season. Probably not. But hey, you never know. Maybe they get it accepted, and the NFL is like, boom, they already have the rules set up and all that. And so yeah. Next, Trevor Lawrence, the pretty much locked first overall pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars, is not going to attend the draft in Cleveland. He's going to watch it at Clemson, I would assume with his teammates and with Dabo Swinney, the coach, with family members and friends. So, he's going to go first overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Some other Clemson players that might get drafted, Travis Etienne, he might be drafting it, going there. And maybe the Jags get both. The Jags have like the 26th pick or something, like the 22nd pick, something like that. They could easily maybe trade back a few spots, get Travis Etienne, and all would be good. Some more NFL news. I got a picture of what I want to say. There have been a wild amount of trades. I believe it was on Friday. So let's go on. All right. So the original draft order: Miami had number 3 overall. The Philadelphia Eagles had number 6, and the San Francisco 49ers had number 12. At the end of the day, San Francisco has number 3, Miami has number 6, and the Eagles have number 12. 49ers, to get number 3 overall from the Miami Dolphins, they had to give up number 12, obviously, 2 first-round picks from 2022 and 2023, and a third-round pick. That's a good move by itself. Already, that is a good move. I like that move. I think, and now knowing what we did after that, it makes a lot more sense. And at number 12, maybe we wouldn't have gotten Jamar Chase, who was the number 1 receiver in the class. Maybe we would have gotten Devonta Smith, maybe even Jalen Waddle. But now we have versatility to move back up, which is exactly what we did. We traded with the Eagles to move to number 6, and they got number 12. And Dolphins also got Philly's 5th rounder in 2021. San Francisco's first and third rounders in 2022, and San Francisco's first and... Oh, wait, no, that's what the Dolphins got. Never mind, that's what the Dolphins got. The Eagles got number 12 overall, Miami's 4th in 2021, and Miami's 1st in 2022. Notice that is not San Francisco's first next year, so I guess they were banking on the fact that we are going to be better than the 49ers next year, which, hey, I like the confidence. There. So, Miami, so, now, what we have to, so, overall, 49ers, all they got was the number 3 pick overall in 2021, in which they are likely to take a quarterback, whether that's Justin Fields or Trey Lance, who knows, because for me, the draft order goes Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, for the quarterbacks. That's what I think it'll go. That's how I think it goes. And whether that's going to be the first 4 picks, who knows? If you want us to do a mock draft, we will. So, just throwing that out there. If you're here at the late stages of the video, thank you. But, if you want us to do a mock draft, let us know. I'll also talk about it in the beginning of next episode, as well. So 49ers get number 3. I think they're going to take Trey Lance, but I like Justin Fields more than Trey Lance. The fact that I saw someone that it was the timing with it, the fact that they moved after Trey Lance's pro day and before Justin Fields' pro day, that's a whole thing. So I think they're gonna take Trey Lance, but I personally like Justin Fields a little bit more. The Dolphins, after the 2 trades that they made, they get Philly's number 6, Philly's 5th round, or number 6 overall in 2021, Philly's 5th rounder in 2021. San Francisco's 1st and 3rd rounders in 2022, and San Francisco's 1st in 2023. Big brain moves right there. You get number 6, a 5, first from the next 2 years, and a third from next year. Eagles get San Francisco's, what was San Francisco but was Miami's at the time, number 12 overall, Miami's 4th rounder in 2021, and Miami's 1st in 2022. So now the Dolphins front office is banking on the fact that we're going to be better than the 49ers next year, and I personally think we will. So we're just, getting as much draft capital as we can. So it was a wild day on Friday, and I was ecstatic. I cannot believe what we got. The memes that are like the small brain, and it works its way up to galaxy brain. I felt like I made a meme inside of my head. At the bottom we got Bill O'Brien. Next we got the 49ers GM, because they just love doing it. Oh no, and then the Rams GM for just trading around first round picks like it's tissues. Next up we got Bill Belichick. He's a pretty good GM. And then the Galaxy Brain top tier GM in the league is Chris Greer up there, all by himself. And I just was super happy because at number 3, and you take Jamar Chase, which is I think what we're gonna do. We already got that big speed threat in Will Fuller. No need to grab another one with Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle. But taking Jamar Chase at number 3, people were like, it's a reach, even though there's literally no one else that we need. Maybe we take Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater at 3, given Penei Sewell's character issues, which is another thing to talk about. But I feel like now at number 6, people are like, oh yeah, you took Jamar Chase, good job, which is what some mocks had people doing. Like if the Dolphins pass on a wide receiver, they're gonna go quarterback, which is just absurd, absolutely absurd. If you think the Dolphins are gonna go quarterback, you actually just leave. And they had Jamar Chase going to number 6 at the Eagles, but now we have that pick, and taking him there won't be as much of a reach. Then at number 12, the Eagles have a lot of things they could do. I don't think they'd go O-line, but they could go defense, they could go offense. That's a pretty dumb, stupid thing to say, Andrew, but anyway, they could go wide receiver, they could go corner, they could go linebacker, but I think they would take Devonta Smith or Pitts, Zach, Jake. Heck, I think it's Zach Pitts. No, it's definitely not Zach. Let me look up NFL draft prospects. I feel really dumb right now. I am really... Kyle Pitts. They could go Kyle Pitts at number 12. They could go Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle. I personally think they would go Kyle Pitts if he's there. But if he isn't, and Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle is there, I'd go Devonta Smith. But, if he's taken, maybe the Lions take him or something like that at number 7. Then I think they would be more than happy with Jalen Waddle at 12. So, and to see 3 receivers go in the top 12, that's kind of crazy. But I think these moves benefit all 3 teams besides the 40. I think it benefits them. But the 49ers just gave up a lot to get that 3rd overall pick. Dolphins moved down to 12, then moved back up to 6. And like I said, Chris Greer was just such a galaxy brain on Friday. It was hilarious. But I'm looking through. Not much else to say. I missed out on 2 really big things. Ravens adding Sammy Watkins. And the ESPN article puts it, the hunt for a receiver ends. No. It's a 1-year deal. And Sammy Watkins is slightly above average at best. He's going to be their number 1, yes, sure, whatever. Even though, really, Mark Andrews is your number 1 pass-catching option. Sammy Watkins, I think he really, turned around his career with the Chiefs. Is it what people thought it was going to be? Absolutely not. Is he a draft bust? No. But I think him pairing up with Marquise Brown and Devin Duvernay and whoever else they have there, I think he's a good fit for them. I like remember back at free agency, I said a lock for the Ravens was Kenny Galladay. Well, that turned out to be wrong. So anyway, they had Sammy Watkins, who I had no idea was a free agent until like 3 days ago. But I think it's a 1-year, $8 million deal. So obviously not too much of a risk, and for a team that's really young, does not have a lot of money like tied up to one player or to any player, I think adding Sammy Watkins will be a good thing. It'll help Lamar Jackson. Just not because when your number 2 option is Willie Snead or Devin Duvernay, that's just really not ideal. But so Sammy Watkins, their top 3 pass catchers will go Mark Andrews, Sammy Watkins, and then Marquise Brown. So it's an upgrade, but they still need to do more, in my opinion. Yeah. This is not good. Marshawn Lattimore, star corner from the Saints, was arrested in Cleveland. He stole something. Oh, yet again, don't do that. Don't do that. Just don't do that. Don't do that. He was arrested in Cleveland, so he'll probably get a fine. He's definitely gonna get a fine. Might get suspended for like maybe 4 games, something like that. So that's not ideal for the Saints. So yeah, that's not good. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And next up, I forgot about it, but T.Y. Hilton's back with the Colts. He's gonna be with Carson Wentz over there in Indy now, and he said he was 5 seconds from becoming a Raven. I think T.Y. Hilton is. I really like T.Y. Hilton. Is he what he was once? Was like Andrew Luck? No. But is he like one of those guys who's like super old, like Deshaun Jackson? No. I think he can still put up like an 800 yard season, especially with if Carson Wentz can return to that, even like 3/4 of what he was back when he was gonna win MVP. And I think T.Y. Hilton can easily put up 800 yards on a season with Michael Pittman Jr., Jack Doyle at tight end, and then the like three-headed monster at running back, Naheem Hines, Jonathan Taylor, and Marlon Mack. So I think he thought that the Colts was a little bit of a better team, and he didn't want to leave to go to Baltimore. And hey, I can't blame the man. Indianapolis is pretty nice. I think you got a baseball team? No, you don't. I don't think so. But anyway, Colts. I really like this Colts team. I think they're gonna have a good chance of winning that AFC South. Now with the additions of Carson Wentz, re-signing T.Y. Hilton, and everyone like that, and possibly adding some maybe a lineman to protect like replace Anthony Costanzo. And to protect Carson Wentz. I cannot talk today. It is 8:58 p.m. But hey, just doing this last scroll. Yeah, that's really all. There is for this week on NFL news. And that'll wrap up this episode of the New Flame Sports Podcast. If you like this episode, go ahead and hit the like button. If you think we should do a mock draft, as the draft is less than a month away. Hey, March, April, May. Yes, that is how months go. But like I said, if you like this episode, go ahead and hit the like button. If you like what we're doing around here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And we will see you next week. Peace.